All right, so we're back. This is part of this. If I'm senator in the Oval Office, and
Mhm.
you say, "Look, we've got this massive pandemic. We've got to do something about it. These people are going to lose their homes. They're going to be backlogged on rent, et cetera, et cetera." And you say,
They don't have
we
food to eat.
they don't have
That's
food
the
to eat,
important.
right? They
Yeah.
don't have food to eat, whatever it is. Um, we have got to we've got to sink a good amount of money into this now, and we're gonna have to do this maybe quarterly for a while till we get people back on their feet.
Yep. Yep.
And I say, okay, I get that, I understand that, it makes sense. Then my immediate question to you is going to be, and I can promise you, now I don't know this for sure, but I can't promise you, I can almost assuredly tell you that a man like Senator Cruz would say, okay, I get that, that makes sense, I know what you're saying, but what's the trade-off? Again, going back to my whole philosophy of life, there are no solutions, there's only trade-offs. There's only trade-offs. So tell me what the trade-off to doing a stimulus package to the tune of $2 trillion a quarter. What's the trade-off? Yeah, tell me. No, no, well, no. Well, that's but see, that's part of the. Well, no, so but that's part of the but that's part of the negotiating tactic, because here's the
Uh-huh.
thing: is here's where I'm coming from, right? As a Republican, right? I'm Senator Garnett.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
uh, I'm coming in there and I'm saying I don't want to give anything to anybody via the American government, the federal government. I don't like welfare. I don't like health benefits from the federal government. I don't like any of this. I don't want to give anything. What's the trade-off? Well,
Hmm.
people are gonna suffer because of that. They're gonna have hard
They're going to
times.
suffer. Our
Yep.
recovery as a country is going to be much longer,
Yeah. So
right?
so
The
that's
recovery of the
that's
country is going to be
right.
10.
So I'm coming in knowing that in this situation, that if I refuse to help the American people in this time of emergency, that there's going to be that okay, so we might not increase the debt. Uh, you know, some of my agenda items might be accomplished. I might gain some political clout with my base, but at the end of the day, if I hold firm on this position of we're not helping you guys at all, um, what's the trade-off? And that's so I see that. So I see, okay, the trade-off is if I hold firm to this status quo position
Mhm.
of a Republican, of a conservative, and I say, sorry, we're just that's not the role of the federal government. We're not here to help you out. This is America. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. However you want to phrase that. Um,
Yep.
you know, uh, if I hold firm on that position, then the trade-off is that millions of American people are going to suffer. There's going to be more death. There's going to be more despair and that sort of thing. Um, and so I say, okay, wait a minute. That's I'm not. I'm willing to trade something off here. I'm willing to trade off, and that's the question I want to know from my negotiators is, okay, we want to bail everybody out. We want to make this all okay. Are you aware of what the trade-offs are for that? And if my negotiators are coming back and saying, well, oh, there's no trade-offs. There's no downside to this whatsoever. That's where I go, nope, negotiations over. Whether I'm in the minority
Mhm.
position or the majority position, if you can't articulate to me what the trade-offs are in that situation, if you're saying,
Mhm.
okay, we get it, we understand that if we do this, here's what the downsides are. If you can't articulate that to me, then we've got no real room to
Mhm.
negotiate. I mean, are you
I
following what I'm saying?
understand. Yep. But I think that's true in any negotiation
Yeah.
because in a negotiation, and there's a couple of ways to negotiate. One way, of course, is just winner takes all.
Right.
You know, I'm in a power position. Yep. I'm going to do as I want. You're either going to take it or leave it,
yep.
right? You either walk away or whatever. That's one way to negotiate, right? And that's usually like a unilateral negotiation. That's kind of an negotiation, right? I win everything, everybody else loses.
Right. Okay, so let me just...
I don't negotiate, right? But
yeah.
before we go, but wait a second here.
Okay.
Is what you need to do when in a negotiation is you have to find those fine points of, what do we agree on, first of all? We can agree on those things. Let's initial and put them to bed, right? We can get down to we can get the sauce, boil it down to those points we disagree on, right? And then what do we do and trade on off those points? If I give you this, how is that really going to help you?
Right.
Let's look for a win-win. Let's don't look like a I win, you lose, you win, I lose. I got power, so I just tell you what to do.
Right.
None of that really works for the American people.
No.
And I don't think we see a lot of those negotiation going on. And that goes along in business too, because if let's say I'm going to build a facility for somebody and I tell them what the price is and they go, oh, that's too much. Well, I can either negotiate with them, figure out what they really need versus what they want, right? Yeah. Or they need to go out and raise more money, or you know what I mean? You have to go through those because both of you have to come to an agreement. And this may not be more than just two people. It could be a multilateral agreement, which our previous president didn't like multilateral. He likes one-on-ones.
Right.
But could be a multilateral agreement where one party kind of rubs the back of another party, the back of another party, and it all comes back around. So everybody feels like, where the tide is raising all the boats versus, the tide's only raising my boat, right? So that's just part of normal negotiation. There's a few different strategies. If I was Joe, I would go in there and I'd say, okay, what do we agree on? You've got this list of things that you're going to do, and you've got numbers attached to them all. Okay, I've got a list of things that I'm going to do that have numbers attached to them. So let's go down the list. Yeah. What do we agree on? Okay, we agree on all these things. There's 3 things or 5 things or whatever that we don't agree on. Why don't you want to do those things?
Okay. Well, so
and then we can go back to the items and talk about why you put a different value on each one of them. How come I've got a bigger value or a lesser value on each one of them? It's a negotiation, right?
Well, right, and it is. But one thing I'm definitely looking for from my negotiating partners when I'm sitting in that room is I want them to bring their argument across. And then I want them to tell me about so they don't have to voluntarily do it, but I'm going to say, okay, here's your plan. What's the downside? What's the trade-off? And if you say
you're putting that it's Biden trying to that it's Biden's responsibility to figure this out. Biden is first of all, and I just said this, it's not good when you're negotiating from strength. That's where Biden's at right now. To be honest with you, he didn't have to invite those guys in there. He could have just said, you know what, guys, just go home, sit in the corner, or whatever you want to do. He could have done that.
Well, he did. And in effect, he did. He did do that. I mean, it was,
no, he didn't. He invited.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He invited. I mean, that's a great virtue signaling. Great. Yeah. Invite some.
Okay, it's a virtue signal. Whatever you want. But he invited them in.
But not in a serious way. And that's what I'm talking about. If Biden would have been serious about doing a serious bipartisan negotiation on this bill, he would have brought in the hard hitters. He would have brought in Senator Cruz. He would have brought in
does he sit on that committee? Why would you bring Cruz
because
if he's not part of that committee?
Because Senator Cruz leads the Senate. I don't care what anybody says. He would have brought.
You're a big Cruz fan.
He would, but he
he's
does.
Not out of the Senate, okay?
Okay, I not officially, but he is.
Why didn't they bring McConnell in? McConnell's the leader.
They should have. Yeah, they should have. That's if they were going to talk about this. So the point being is, and this is the thing I know about Senator Cruz enough to know, that's what he's going to ask. What's the downside? Okay, I understand y'all's proposal. I understand the dilemma we're in. What's the downside to this? We need to clearly articulate what the downside to this is, because what we need to say is we're trading something off here. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
bail everybody out. That's the plan. Starting with
Mm-hmm.
this almost $2 trillion stimulus, which again, President Biden says might need to continue into the future. You just said that yourself.
Every quarter.
Okay, so what are we trading off here? Let's all get very clear on, okay, we're
Mm-hmm.
going to do this, and if your contention is that there's no downside to that, that's where the red flags start to go off. That's where I start to say, okay, you haven't thought that through.
Well, no, I think there is a downside to it.
Okay.
So the downside is like we discussed a minute ago, is everybody just goes and pulls it up on their bootstraps, and we figure out how we're going to feed the children.
No. What I'm no. I'm talking about
school.
no. I'm talking about the downside of bailing everybody out of their rent crisis, bailing everybody out of their mortgage crisis in this situation individually, et cetera, et cetera. I'm talking about bailing everybody out, whatever that costs. What if it costs $50 trillion?
But that's not what we're doing.
Okay,
But that's not what we're doing.
right, but okay, so all right, so here's the other thing. Is $2 trillion. If your aim is to help people get out of a situation where they owe back rent because they've deferred their rent. Now the mortgage situation is a little different, because the mortgage companies are all but happy to tack those payments on the back of your mortgage. That's not a problem. We had no problem. I mean, Jen and I deferred our mortgage for 6 months, for no other reason than we could. And we took all that money and we made home improvements. We took advantage of the situation. We really did.
Nope.
Okay. So,
That worked for you.
yeah, and the mortgage company was all but happy. Not only did they tack those payments on the back, they completely refinance us. We've got a lower payment. I mean, we're coming out smelling like roses on this thing. Okay. But you take somebody who's in a rent situation where the rent's been deferred and it's accumulating, and now all of a
Well,
sudden,
let's say somebody's still buying. So you were able to you were able to do that as you're still employed, and you still have a paycheck coming in every week,
yeah,
right? Take the guy or gal that has not had that paycheck for 6 months, and they go
Right.
into the mortgage
Right,
company
okay,
and say,
so-
"Hey, we want to defer this," and they say, "Well, deferring it's just kicking it down the road because you can't even pay the interest on this for the
okay,
next."
well, okay, so okay, right. So we want to
defer it. And
You've got a situation where you've got a single mom who's in that situation. We want to bail that woman out. What's the downside?
we want to give her cash so she can bail herself
Okay.
out. She needs to make her own determination
Fair enough.
how she's going to spend that
We're
cash.
gonna give her.
And she may walk away from her house and go into an apartment or something because that's better for her.
We want to.
I don't want to tie her.
Fair enough.
I don't put strings on things.
Okay, fair enough. We want to give her cash. We want to drop the cash out of the helicopter. I like that notion. We want to give her cash, give her autonomy to make decisions that's best for her and
Right.
her family. What's the downside to that? What's the trade-off?
What's the trade-off? That if we give her that cash, what's the bad side of that?
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm going to
Now you're
decline
good.
that.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
Oh, you got somebody calling you.
Yeah, well, I found out on the break that my person that was coming is she did not take care of that person. It was somebody else that came to the
Oh,
door.
gosh.
So
Okay.
I still
No,
need
you're
to
good.
need
you're
to
all
go
right.
back over and do that. So she's probably sitting in my driveway right now. The break. Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
no problem. No, yeah,
Then we're
no
gonna talk
problem.
about
We'll pick it
Okay.
up. We'll pick it up.
All
No
right.
problem.
were about trade-offs.
Yes.
So, with you ready to start?
Yeah, no, go for it.
broadcasting
Yeah,
again?
yeah, we
All
are
right.
live. Go for it.
Live. So trade-offs. So, you know, trade-offs aren't just an equal thing. You know, I mean, it's like when you think about trade-offs, the trade-off isn't we give them money or they don't eat. You have to look at at the whole thing. What does our society value, and what do we need to what tide do we need to raise to make sure that all those boats are in the level of our society,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And maybe that's just a price that we have to pay. Maybe it's not a trade-off. Maybe it's that we need to supply a group of people, and I know you like means testing, but so let's even say we means test them.
Yeah.
But let's say we have to give a group of people enough money to get by for the next year for 2021, or yeah, all the way through 2021 because they don't have a job or they don't have the skill set. They need to go back to school, whatever it is, because there's a lot of people in that shape. I mean, you and I, we've made it through,
Sure.
or we're making it through,
Yeah,
right?
it's not a
We're
problem.
still working. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm turning down work. I can't do it all. So,
Me too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it comes down to.
Mhm.
And then there's other options to you, like you said, with taking care of your house. You got in a better place. I'm refinancing my place here next month probably
Yep.
because I've got 2 pieces of land and I'm going to join the 2 pieces of land into one, and had that done as far as like the survey team and got ready to register it all. So I have to redo the loan because the loan that I have on my property is for one property, not 2 properties, but it's going to be one bigger property now. So I have to redo the loan on that. So rewrite the loan. So I'm expecting to save some money on that because I am still employed. My credit rating is still good. So, I mean, but you imagine all the folks that have fallen into a place now in their life where their credit number is going down the toilet, right? Their social score, we've talked about that before. Their credit rating and social score has gone down, so now they have to pay higher interest rates so they can afford smaller houses. If they could, even an apartment. I mean, most apartments require credit score now too, even to rent an apartment.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's put people in a really, really tough spot, right? You and I, okay, I'm really glad that, we're not in that spot, but you never know. If things went worse, if all those people had a bigger problem and things went south even further, then people aren't going to build building plants and you're not going to be hauling steel and we're all going to end up in the same sauce, so to speak, right?
Right.
So,
Well, so again, that's my negotiating tactic is
Sure.
okay. I get all that. I appreciate all that. I sympathize
Mhm.
with all that. What's
Okay.
the downside? What's the unforeseen circumstance? Because here's the thing. Again, you can agree with me. I would hope you would agree with me on this that in the past several years I especially have been priced out of the health insurance market. Been priced out of it. And there's no other way to explain that other than the Affordable Care Act. There's no other way to explain that. Okay, so you want to give universal health? You want to do the Affordable Care Act? What's the downside to that? Okay, you're going to price, blue collar workers out of the healthcare industry, and you're going to take care of something else. You're going to take care of those with pre-existing conditions. Okay, that's the clarity I want to see from our politicians to say, okay, hey, you know what? You guys that have enjoyed, having health care and having your doctors paid for, sorry, but you're going to lose your doctor. You're going to have to pay for stuff out of pocket by and large. But we're doing that. We're trading that off in order to take care of these people with pre-existing conditions, et cetera, et cetera. That's what we're going to do. That's the move we're making. So now, had President Obama come out and said that, I would have said, okay, well, that's something to consider. There are people suffering in our country with pre-existing conditions. There are people suffering with situations that they can't manage. And he says, okay, hey, you rugged you know, cowboy individualists, you asphalt cowboys, you truckers, you stealers, you guys are on your own. You guys, we know you can do it, but we want to take care of these people. You know what? That might have been a pitch I would have been on board with. To say, okay, I'm going to sacrifice myself. I'm going to say, okay, I'm not going to be able to have health insurance. I might go into some debt. I might have to try to figure out how I'm going to pay off the debt. But these poor people who really need the health coverage, you know, hey, let's do that thing. Let's just do
Before
it.
we get into the coverage thing, okay, because you know my views
Sure.
on that. I lived in country with universal health care, and it absolutely works. I mean, it works in every
Right, but
country
okay, so
except the
but
United
again,
States. 'Cause it's not,
that's always the thing it's always the thing I'm looking for. What is the trade-off? Please articulate to me. What's the trade-off? Okay, if we do the single payer thing, right? From my perspective, from what I understand of healthcare, we're using these as an examples.
in a rabbit hole. Let's pull back to where we were at with unity.
Right,
and
that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about let's be clear. Let's be clear. Let's get very certain clarity on what we're proposing and what the trade-offs are. Again, don't come to me with a panacea solution to a problem, because when you come to me with that, then that's what I'm going. Nope.
Okay.
No.
So I'm going to tell you, I read a small article when we were on break a little while ago too. Is all the Republicans now they've shown through their voting in the last couple of days that they don't want anybody to receive $1,400. So all their constituents know that they don't want them to have all of their constituents.
Well, no. Okay. So no,
they voted that way. You know.
Okay, but all right. But the point being, Jeff,
bringing it back to the 1
is that Republicans constituents are looking at that $1,400 help, and what I'm trying to give you the conservative Republicans perspective. What's the trade-off? What's the trade-off? Okay, so it's been great. I mean, like I said, it's been great for Jen and I to do all these house improvements and pay off debt, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, at the same time, I'm still asking a question. Ultimately, in the long term, what's the trade-off? Because there are no solutions. I am absolutely convinced of that.
Okay.
You're not getting. Don't. So please, when you come to the negotiation. Yeah, but hold on. When you wait. When you come to the negotiating table, you have got to say, "This is what I think. Here's what I think we should do. Here's what we're trading off." All right. The benefits of my solution outweigh the trade-offs. Right? The trade-offs are bad. Again, go back to the ACA. Had Obama come out and said, "Hey, look, you know, you all who have your private doctors, and you're not going to keep that anymore." Let's
stay on 1.9 trillion. You know, what's the trade-offs for the Republicans then? I mean, I give you all this upside of what Joe wants to do. What are the trade-offs? Why are the Republicans being a stick in the mud and they don't want it?
Okay, all right. So that's what I'm asking you to articulate. So again, that's where you're going to entice me to the table, right? Is for you to say, okay, we've got this $2 trillion plan essentially to put this in place. Now, we just want you guys to know we understand that that the downside of this is that we've got potential inflation, we've got potential a potential situation of inflating the market. You know, we've got a situation where we might be in a situation where we're looking at a 1970. You know, we know.
Oh, wait a second. These are the same guys that over the last year, before Joe came to office, voted for $4 trillion, not 2, but $4 trillion, and did it unilaterally. They didn't have Democratic support on it.
Wait a second.
Well, they did.
So no. You're that's just factually wrong.
No, wait. That's the Trump bailout. I mean, they were in power.
The Trump bailout was a bipartisan. That
Okay.
both of them.
So why can't partisan now? Why? What
Okay,
is
so
the problem?
so all right. So back up.
Because they're standing their ground so
No,
they can build it
you've
again.
got to
And I want to be fiscally
you've
conservative.
got to be right. You've got
Mhm.
so
I
on
didn't
this.
hear any fiscal conservative arguments for the
Okay.
last 4 years. Why do we
Okay.
have?
All right. I'm not defending that. At the same time,
Well, no,
so
you're not.
my basic premise is when we come to the
Mhm.
table, we got to say, okay, here's what we want to do. We have a situation where we're in a pandemic. We have an emergency situation. What do we do about this? Okay. Our solution is let's infuse $2 trillion into the American economy. There's going to be negative ramifications for that. That's what I want my opponents to have thought through. Okay, what's the negative ramifications of that?
Okay,
Okay.
so I'm going to go with history again. Over the 4 trillion in the last year, what were the negative ramifications of that?
Well, and I'm going to go with history. I mean, a broader history of when you infuse massive amounts of cash into the American economy, or into the world economy, as it were, being as the American economy is the world economy. What happens? You get recession. That's what happens. That's what
The
happened.
brink of a recession.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If they're not careful, with the amount of money that they are shoveling out.
Okay, 8 trillion for the last 4 years. We weren't worried about recession or inflation or any of those things.
No, I don't.
But now
I don't think that was ever the case. I think we were in a situation where we said, okay, we can do this these couple of times. Going forward, I think we have to be careful about it. As far as, again, I was.
So now we need to worry. I understand. Now we need to worry.
And we should have worried then, because
Okay.
this right. So the microcosm of this, from our anecdotal perspectives is, I mean, Jen and I greatly benefited from the COVID-19. She got laid off. Bernie Sanders said, "Well, let's not give them. Let's give them some pudding. We should give them pudding too. We shouldn't just give them. Unemployment. We also have to give them pudding. So $600 worth of pudding. We're gonna. So Jen was making 3 times as much as she was on unemployment when she got laid off, and she's still getting those benefits. Okay, I'm not. We had
Those benefits.
we had $1,800 stuck in, and so Jen's remaking the house. We remodeled the place. We paid off a bunch of debt. Okay, so that's great, fantastic. But the problem with that is that if you continue on that vein of that kind of policy, what's the long-term effects on our economy, the global economy? You're talking about, at best, a gigantic inflation, stagflation bubble that's gonna blow up right in your face.
Okay.
Because,
So you're talking about things that have already happened.
yeah.
Okay. We did the 8 trillion. We did the tax breaks, and we did all the other stuff that through the last 4 years, and all those things happened. And I'm really glad it worked out well for you and Jen. It worked out well for a lot of people like you and Jen. Okay. It's not just you. You're not
Right.
special. Okay.
Right.
But a lot of people did. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's a bunch of people that it didn't work out well for. When I see on the news the lines that are miles long in food bank lines.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
So now all right. So now we're negotiating, right? So now we're talking about means testing this stuff, right? We're talking about, okay. Hey, Matt and Jen,
I'm not a big meat tester. Okay.
right? But Matt and Jen and Jeff and Vicky, hey, those guys are fine. They're fine. What we really need to do is target
Well, how do you means test it? What do you use as a basis for means testing now?
Well,
Huh?
the same way you means test whether somebody can be on welfare. I mean, Jen and I can't go down
Oh,
to
no, that is so complicated. I mean, then
okay,
nobody's going to get it.
but
Okay.
but now you're saying
The
now
way the
you're
means
but
tested
but the
the
difference is, so the problem is that you're saying let's just shovel all this money out the door to everybody when it doesn't make any sense to do that, and when the downside risks to that are the utter destruction of the United
It
States
does
economy and the world economy. You are screwing with stuff here, sir, that you don't really, you don't, I mean, you were alive in the late 70s. I was barely alive, but people
Right.
were sitting in line for gas. I mean, this stuff can
I was
happen.
there sitting in
Okay.
line. I was
Fair,
driving then.
100%. So
Yeah.
we don't want to go back to that, do we?
When gas went over $1,
That's
pumps couldn't
okay.
do it.
That's when you start shoveling money out of the federal government to the American public, you're devaluing the dollar. You are not only
Now, the amount of dollars is not tied to the valuation of a dollar. It's not a finite resource, and you can
no,
look that
that's
up.
no, that's again, we're negotiating, right? That's where you're wrong. So you dismiss the basic economic notion of scarcity.
No, I don't. I do around how our economic system is built, though, through the Treasury and everything. They don't have a finite.
No, markets.
dollars.
No. Markets work the way they work.
Markets.
That's what markets
That's
do.
the scarcity I
Markets
agree
work
about
the
that.
way markets
Saw
work the
that on
way they
GameStop,
work,
right?
and if you get a supply of cash infused into the economy, what's that going to do? That's going to inflate prices. So
No.
so
Did
no.
we have inflation
How-
over the year?
I'm not talking about we. I'm talking
No, I'm
about
talking about
economic
US.
history. Look at the peso. What the hell's a peso worth?
Wait a second. I'm going to go back and I'm going to pull the same thing on you like you pulled on me. We can't compare the dollar to the peso. Our dollar is so different and everything else. Okay. Now, let's go back to the last 4 years. We went out and we spent an extra $8 trillion under Trump, okay?
Yeah.
$8 trillion.
Suck.
Bad.
Bad.
What's going on in our stock market's up? Our inflation is not up. Our interest rates are at the lowest time possible. So what did that $8 trillion do to us? And what will $8 trillion more dollars do?
So here would be my counter argument to that. My counterfactual is every time that's tried, it ends in disaster. And what you're telling me is, oh no, this time when we try it, it's not going to end in disaster. Everybody's going to be rich. They're going to have whatever they want. It's not going to be a problem.
You know, an hour ago, I just told you, I'm 60 years old. I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime, nor has anybody else that lives in the United States.
Well, so again,
we're playing new territory here.
So, okay, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, when we're talking about unity, about coming together, please, I mean, we have seriously got to look at the downsides of things. And I think that's been one of the, if not the most egregious policy failures of our country is we try to do something good, right? So one of my favorite authors is a black man called Jason Riley. And I've recommended this book to you before. You should definitely read it. Please Stop Helping Us. That's the book he wrote. Please Stop Helping Us. Because his contention is that as good intentioned as policies were to help the black community, especially in the inner cities, they have actually worked in the opposite direction.
Well, I think it did. Yeah, right. I agree.
But
you know why though? Is because of means testing and all the other.
No, I don't. No, I don't think so.
You know?
I think what and again, Jason Riley, Dave O.T. Jason Riley is a protege of Thomas Sowell, so he's always looking at trade-offs. There's no solutions.
Right.
There's only trade-offs. What are we trading off here? That's what so when I'm in a negotiation, you propose this, I'm saying, okay, that sounds great. What are we trading off here? Where is that going to leave us in the future?
Okay, I'm going to flip the script on you. I'm going to say I'm not doing anything.
Okay.
What's the trade-off? I'm not doing anything.
Okay. Yeah, the trade-off is a lot of people suffer.
Yeah.
So we can't do nothing.
A lot of people. I think that if we don't do it, it's not just a lot of people, and you and I are doing okay right now. I think it drags the whole country down.
Right. No, I agree. We can't do nothing. We have to do something.
Right.
But again, so if we're looking at, okay, hey, convince me that a $2 trillion stimulus package at this point outweighs the trade-offs of inflation or whatever other economic ramifications.
Negotiation. The difference is a $1.9 trillion stimulus package versus a $700 billion stimulus package.
Yeah.
What are we negotiating for those two things? And that's what's really important, because obviously since the Republicans came up with another offer, their $700 billion, they know what they're willing to provide because they're worried about those trade-offs. I get you, okay? The Democrats say, this is what we want to provide because we're worried about the trade-offs. So I would ask the Republicans, just like I said a little while ago, we agree on something, disagree on these things. Why? Why do you think you don't need to do that? Because of your evaluation of the trade-offs, right?
Right. So
I'd flip it back to the Republicans. The other thing is when the Republicans negotiating from power, right? It was a whole different deal. They didn't even invite the Democrats in. They weren't even invited into committee meetings.
So right. That's a great point you bring out, because I wanted to bring this out was, do you want the Biden administration to be just the mirror opposite of the Trump administration?
No.
Okay.
I want the Biden administration to do the right thing for our government.
Okay, so
I don't want it to be
but in my estimation,
so
in my estimation, and in the estimation of the tens of millions of those who voted for Trump, is Biden is just the flip side of the coin of Trump.
No. So if you consider transparency versus opacity, then we're the flip side. Okay?
No, that's not true. I completely disagree. You're going to tell me Press Secretary Psaki. Let me circle back to that. She doesn't answer a damn question. I haven't heard that woman. I have not heard that woman answer a difficult question. No, name one. I have not heard that woman answer a difficult question.
So many.
From Ducey, who is the one conservative reporter in that whole room. In fact, Ducey has been, pretty much shunned and put in his place by Biden when he asked him about so let's not bullshit here.
We're moving toward our other
right,
two,
which
right?
is the idea that Psaki won't answer serious questions. She'll answer what kind of ice cream does Joe like? Chocolate chip. Oh, that's easy. Yeah, but name one serious question. She has not said, well, let me circle back on that. She hasn't answered any of those questions. So don't tell me about transparency with the Biden administration. Biden is the flip side of Trump. And that's my point, is if you're going to have unity, you cannot have the flip side of the previous administration. No. You've got to do something differently. And so far, Joe Biden hasn't done a damn thing, and neither has his administration, to act like they are a different kind of administration than the Trump administration was. All right? Do you want Joe Biden to be just a liberal version of Trump? Because so far, in my opinion, that's how they've behaved. And prove me otherwise.
I can say horrible, nasty things about what I feel about Trump, but I'm just gonna bring up Ducey since you brought him up, actually. So let's talk about that. So Ducey works for Fox News.
Yep.
And you pointed out just a second ago, he's the only conservative reporter in there.
Yep.
However, Fox News is the company that's being sued right now because they output all these conspiracy theories.
Okay.
How can this? I mean, let's get off to these these conspiracy theories and how is the public. How can we have unity if we still got this? We got the truth on one side, and I said this a little while ago because I watched 3 or 4 different news channels and I just went back and forth because I hate commercials, so I can just flip from one to the other to stop in commercials, right? So I get overlap views all day long, right? Excuse me.
No, you're good.
How can Fox News put a guy in there, and how can they have this following with the ability of these people, and how do we have unity and unification when people still believe all this craziness, about the election being stolen? We put that to bed last week about it being stolen, about a different version of reality that they don't even get it.
Yeah.
I don't want a person to watch Fox News and think that's America.
Well,
I don't want them to do it.
And at this,
because it's not.
Okay, fair enough. In the same token, I don't want people to watch MSNBC and think that's America either.
Okay. So your guy, like, they got rid of Lou Dobbs last night.
Okay.
I told you about that earlier. So why did they get rid of him?
Okay, so I'm not sure about that. So I'm not sure how.
Well, they're covering their base. That's why, because they're being sued. All right. Tucker wasn't on last night either. Okay. I don't know if he had the Friday night off or whatever. I flipped over to check out his monologue. It's like watching Saturday Night Live. I gotta watch his monologue when he first comes on, because he comes out with all these crazy conspiracy. His lawyers, even when he was sued last time, their defense was no sane person would actually believe what Tucker says. It's opinion. It has nothing to do with news. It's opinion only, and it's for entertainment. So in that realm, if that's the way they think of their newscasters, why is Ducey in the room?
Okay. Why are CNN? Why is any CNN reporter in the room? So they do the same thing.
Well, they take Don Lemon. He gets poked at by. He used to get poked at by Trump.
The same thing.
The guy on TV or whatever. Okay, I'll grant you. He has his opinions too. He pops up the opinions.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have he has opinions that are biased, but he doesn't have opinions that are blatant lies and conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't make any sense, because Don Lemon.
It doesn't.
No, Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo, the both of them, other
Both
CNN anchors, other CNN, MSNBC folks who are loud in the press room, put forth all kinds of conspiracy theories. Case in point, Russian collusion that got Trump elected in 2016. They put that forth for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about crazy conspiracy theories.
So do you think Russian collusion was a conspiracy theory?
Russian collusion didn't happen.
What do you mean it didn't happen?
Didn't happen between.
How come everybody around Trump was convicted of all kinds of things? Everything.
Okay, so no. Now you're no, they weren't. Not everybody around Trump was convicted of name one person. Name one person who was convicted of colluding with the Russians to fix the election in 2016. Name one person. You can't.
Michael Flynn.
No. Michael Flynn was absolutely not. Jeff, you're lying. That is not true. Michael Flynn was brought up on charges for lying to the FBI, and it's been proven since that he was set up for that. Okay,
Mhm.
he was set up for that, and he fucked up. Yes, did he fuck up? Yes, he did. But you cannot provide.
What was me, a
You cannot
three-star
provide
general
me. You cannot provide me a shred of evidence that the Trump administration colluded with the Russians to fix the 2016 election, and that is a narrative that still persists today. And CNN, on MSNBC, and all these other cable news outlets. So don't give me conspiracy theory stuff where Fox News, where Ducey even. I mean, look at Fox News has backed off their position in all kinds of ways. They're just trying to get some honest answers from this administration.
Talking about the bad election.
No, so no, they did not. Okay, so again. Here's how I would compare this, right? Obama comes into office, W comes into office. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. The nation doesn't like the direction that W has taken the country. There's a reaction. Obama does his thing. Trump does his thing. Biden does his thing. The media do the same fucking thing. Excuse my language. Mm-hmm. They do the same bullshit. They do the same bullshit because all of the mainstream media are sitting here accusing right-wingers of this conspiracy about how the 2020 election was stolen. And everybody knows, well, the 2020 election wasn't stolen. It was pure as a clean driven snow. But in 2016, oh, no. No. The 2016 election was Russian collusion. There had to be some way that Trump won illegitimately. All right, this has been going on since Bush v. Gore.
I'm just going to ask, did Michael Flynn talk to the Russians before the election?
Yeah, in
what capacity? In what capacity?
In his preemptive official role as a government official.
But hold on, before the election. Before the 2016 election.
But what do you mean before?
It's not preemptive. He did it in anticipation. That's what they come out to say, in anticipation of Trump winning.
So this is all this. Jeff, your own party investigated this with all of their own investigators. They found nothing. They found nothing. Okay. So here's the juxtaposition. There was nothing found irregular or improper about the 2016 election. Trump was rightly elected in 2016.
He was elected.
He was rightly elected in 2016 Mm-hmm. Now you want it now.
Collusion has
no. Wait. Whoa. Now you want to turn around. Now you want to turn around in 2020 and say that those who are accusing Biden of being illegitimately elected are completely out to sea. They have no claim.
Let me state my case here, all right?
Okay.
Nobody complained about voter machines, about the Electoral College, about it. Trump was elected, period, okay? Whether he'd used some unscrupulous means or whatever he was, maybe before or under or whatever, okay, but he was elected, all right? What Trump did with Biden is he tried to undermine our democracy completely.
No. And I would level the same accusation at you all that tried to undermine the Dems who tried to undermine the 2016 election.
No, nobody said the voting machines were bad in 2016.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's a distinct.
Nobody said the Electoral College.
That's a distinction without a difference. What you're saying is, so the Dems say the 2016 election. So this is one of my just rips my face off. I get so sick of this because in 2016, I mean, starting in 2000 with the election of W, right? It has been this. W is not a legitimate president. All right. Then we turn around and say Obama's not a legitimate president. And then you guys turn around and say Trump's not a legitimate president. And then we turn around and say Biden's not a legitimate president. It's bullshit. We need to stop this nonsense. Okay, if you want to talk about unity, that kind of bullshit. Okay, whenever your guy loses,
you got to stop the conspiracy theory.
I agree.
So how do you do that?
I agree 100%. And Russian collusion is just as much of a conspiracy theory as being put forth by anybody who would continue to maintain that the 2020 election. It's just as much. No, it is the exact fucking same thing. We got to stop this bullshit.
Hold on.
Okay, go.
Two wrongs don't make it right. So how do we fix it? How do we get rid of the conspiracy theory?
You have Joe Biden. Okay, so here's a couple options Biden has. Okay, first option. He comes out. This is what I was. This is why I just so I hated his inauguration speech. I hated it because had he really wanted unity, he would have come out and said, "Look, we have tried to delegitimize Trump for the past 4 years, and we were wrong to do that. We have no Jeff, if you want unity, this is what he should have said. We were wrong to do that. We were wrong to try to delegitimize Trump's presidency. We were wrong to impeach him. And if he really wanted, I mean, he would have won me over with this very statement. We were wrong to impeach him, or we will be wrong to impeach him a second time for this. We need to move on from this. We need to be unified. Trump is out. I'm in. I mean, I would have been like, give it to me, President.
Trump is not getting impeached for the election. He's getting impeached the second time for something completely different.
If Biden wanted unity, that's what he would have said. That's what he would have said.
Okay. First of all, if I'm Biden, I'm not going to go out there and admit or cop a plea that we did a bunch of stuff wrong and we need to go forward from that. I'm not giving that to Trump at all. Absolutely not.
Why? Why? Because it's politically expedient.
Why?
It's politically.
That's not what. That's
exactly. Because it's politically expedient. Instead of telling the truth, and bringing a unifying message, and saying, okay, we all need to chill out.
Okay.
We need to stop this nonsense of delegitimizing the opponent's victories. That shit's got to stop.
Right.
On either side of it. Right?
Okay.
Again, you've heard me say before that I think Senator, even my idol, my political idol, Senator Cruz, was wrong-headed with John Howard.
Oh, he was completely wrong.
Okay, he was wrong.
So what about your other friend, Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Okay, I'm not bringing. No. Don't get me distracted. That's what you do. You try to distract me.
I'm not distracted.
No, what
you got to own it all.
No, what I'm talking about is a unifying message. So far, I've heard President Biden tell me I'm a piece of shit, and if I don't get on board with his agenda, then I'm in league with those essentially who stormed the Capitol. You know, that's who I'm in league with. I'm not going to unify with somebody who tells me that. That's just not.
Well, I think you really put an olive branch out there. I don't, maybe some folks aren't going to take that olive branch. Okay, he'll stick another one out there, but he's got a lot of fish to fry right now.
No,
he's got to get this 1.9 over the line.
All right, so here's so let me just tell you. Let me just tell you from my perspective.
Move on.
Here's what I'm hearing again, and we discussed this before. Is, hey, you can do whatever you want in this country, just don't speak against the party, right? Mm-hmm. So we take AOC, who claims she was in the Capitol building, being assaulted, etc., etc. If
wasn't assaulted, physically assaulted.
Okay, well, if AOC said she was in the Capitol building, on January 6th, then AOC was in the Capitol building on January 6th, and for
Yep.
and yep, and if you oppose her, if you oppose the party, then we're going to come after you.
So why do you bring this up about AOC? Because
It's a case in
she
point.
said she was scared because
No,
of the situation?
it's a case.
She
No, it's a case in point.
could have been murdered.
No, well, it's a case in point, because what she contends is that there are sitting members of Congress on both sides of the House, Senate and House, that conspired to have her murdered.
Okay. Well, I just Marjorie Taylor Greene. She wanted all Democrats shot. I mean, she put that out a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Before she was in office. I'll tell you that.
So
there are people in
she
there that-
okay. So what you're saying is that Marjorie Taylor Greene's a kook, right? We can agree on that.
I'm not saying she's a kook. She represents her people. She represents a mindset that we have a lot of Americans in that mindset right now. Okay? I'm not saying she's a kook, because if there's a whole bunch of kooks out there, because there's a whole bunch of people that feel exactly the same
Right,
way.
and
I told you I traded DMs with a guy, just yesterday. He's like that. As far as he's concerned, he would just go in, with an automatic weapon or semi and take out all the Dems right now and be done with it.
well, okay, all right.
Okay?
Well,
That's his. None of us know what the hell we're talking. All of us liberals are wrong. And if it was all run by evangelical Republicans, it would be a perfect world.
Well, no, and if anybody that would put forth that argument is completely ridiculous, and I would hope.
Well, there's lots of people do. Pat Robertson came out with his-
I'm sure
about-
you could give me example after example of that situation, but I think the overwhelming majority of us are saying, okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene's kooky. She's kooky.
She's kook, way out there.
Okay, and would you agree that
Yep.
AOC's kooky?
No.
Okay, see, that's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is from the again the
What about
part
Representative
again,
Omar?
and you're doing exactly what you should do. You don't speak against the party. That's what you.
Well, the problem with that is that, like me, I don't think Biden's going far enough.
Of course, right?
I don't think the Democrat platform is far
Okay.
enough. I'm a lot further left.
Okay,
more
so
of a Bernie Sanders,
right. So again, the
Omaha.
idea is that's where I realized that
I'm
okay,
with this
I get the China situation, because in China you do whatever you want. You make as much money as you want. You gather as much social capital as you can. The only thing you don't
Right.
do is you don't speak against the party, no matter what. And that's where
Right. Okay.
and that's where that article I sent to you from Coons, Kevin Coons, I think that's his name. About we need to have a truth commission.
Mhm.
We need to have a
Right.
we need to have a reality commission, and
Mhm.
the question.
Well, it even said, I wrote it down. They need to have a reality czar,
Yeah,
right?
let's have
So
a
at least people from both sides. And I don't know how you would get both sides to believe a person or a group of people, because everybody's going to say, "Oh, that guy's biased," or that or whatever. I don't know how you'd ever get to that point. So he's got some good ideas. I read that article twice, and I really liked it because I read it the first time, loved the article, went back through it, and took some notes. And this is the problem. He starts the article out. He says 70% of Republicans today still think that Trump won.
Mhm.
That's a problem. That's a big problem. In 2016, we didn't have that problem because, okay, he won the Electoral College and Hillary came up and she said, okay, we're conceded, right? That's it. We're done. Now we move on. And Trump got,
Right, but you're
Sworn in.
revising history. That is not what happened. Ever since
that is what happened. Wasn't
okay,
sworn in.
so
somebody
again,
say-
I'll grant you
Remind-
I'll grant you that
Remind-
the Dems are much more shrewd about this whole sort of thing than the pubs are. All right.
Yep.
When again, and I am against this whole notion of your guy won, therefore the election was stolen. It's bullshit. We need to knock
Completely
that
wrong.
shit off. We need to knock that shit off. Okay. But you cannot tell me that every bit and ounce of energy that the Dems have spent in the past 4 years was getting Trump removed from office. That's all they did. That's all.
They spent a lot. I'm glad they did, but they didn't do enough because he didn't get removed. So, be honest with me, all right? In the world, do you think a reality show host should be president? Do you think even Biden.
Jeff, it doesn't matter. Why in the world should an octogenarian who can't put two sentences together be our president right now?
What do you mean putting two sentences together? He's looking pretty strong now. Now that he's sworn in.
As long as he's on teleprompter.
Yeah, he's on teleprompter. That's right. He's standing up in front of us. So one more thing. This is the one that really bugs me because I stay home. I try to stay out of the Rona situation, right? It says 40% of America, this is from that article you sent me, that the coronavirus, was just made up in some lab in China and we were infected by it.
Okay, so hold on. So in other words, what that article is proposing is that we should have a governmental bureaucracy led by a czar who determines what is true and what is false.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to work because I don't think either side's going to believe whoever that czar is or whoever that group is.
They will believe that if they are put under penalty of law. How
about if we make your favorite guy Ted? Why don't we make him the czar?
No, I would completely. I mean, my guy Ted would completely disagree with that. I can assure you, because here's the fundamental difference. Is that when I consume, you and I both do this. We consume the massive amount of media and news, quote unquote, that we do. Right. At the end of the day, what we believe is determined by me. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if I think that that such and such politician, whether that be Senator Cruz, Trump, Biden, Harris, whoever it may be, when they put that forth, I'm free to call bullshit on that. Somebody sends me a link to random weird ass TikTok videos.
Mm-hmm. Like I sometimes send you a TikTok.
Right, I know, and I know you're trying to get my cockles up, which you do when you say. So you're accomplishing your purpose. But I have the autonomy and I have the authority as an individual to say, okay, that's a bunch of bullshit. I don't agree with that. Whatever. Okay. So that's what our country has been founded on, is that individuals have, there's all this stuff out there and we're more connected than ever. And what I think Roos, where the mistake Roos is making, is that he's saying, okay, we're gonna, sorry guys, you're no longer allowed to decide for yourself what you think is true and false based on your values or what you think this can. We're gonna take that out of your hands and we're gonna tell you what's true and false. So
would that be state media in China?
Yeah,
similar,
something like that. Yeah.
So, to me, I like this concept. I like what he was talking about and everything, because I think it's great that you do have a source that you can go back to that stands on a subject, and you can go back and say, well, this is what we're doing. This
right. So if right. So again, just as an example. Wait, no, hold on. So just as an example of that, when somebody like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, D-Twitch, like I like to say, maybe D-Instagram at this point. She's not really a representative from New York. She's a representative from Instagram and Twitch. But anyway, the point being, when she says that she was in the Capitol building when these riots occurred, that's the truth. That's what gets handed down.
I believe it was there. She was there in official capacity.
She was.
She was in the chamber.
Okay, right. Well, okay. So right. But it doesn't matter what the truth is. It just matters what she says. So whatever the party. No.
Why would you doubt her if that she wasn't in the chamber? I don't get it.
Because she was.
Let's do something
Yeah,
more
she
basic.
was not.
I just
Okay,
quoted
so
you.
all right. So okay, so again, it doesn't matter what is objectively true. What matters is what the party hands down to us, right? And that's what this reality czar is going to do is to say, okay,
Yeah, that's. But what I'm saying is it's not going to work. I'm going to go back to what I told you in the first place. 70% of Republicans think Trump won. You're a Republican. You're a conservative. Do you think Trump won the election?
I'm not sure.
See what I mean? I know he did not. I know 100% he did not win the election.
And
we have safeguard state center electors. It was all counted twice, thrice, whatever. He lost. If we can't agree on something as basic as that, how can we have a czar can't come out and tell you that Biden won the election, because 70% of the Republicans, 70% of those 70 million that voted, which is about almost 50 million people, are going, nope, you're bullshit.
okay.
Even when they're presented with all the facts, they're still saying bullshit.
Okay. So let me state my case.
Okay.
You know. So again, I'm convinced that Joe Biden won the election. No question.
Okay.
No shenanigans going on. No fraud. No, prima facie.
Right.
However, here's the case that I would state, that I would question. We no longer have an election day in this country. We have an election period.
Season.
Yeah.
It's kind of like The Apprentice.
In my opinion, when you open the voting up to early voting, mail-in voting, which has never been broadly tested and has in fact been implemented against certain state constitutions.
It's been used for years.
Let me state my case.
All right, go ahead.
You're implementing these things that have never been broadly tested and have in fact been implemented against state constitutions, namely Pennsylvania would be a very good case in point. You've got unprecedented voter turnout.
Mm-hmm.
My thing would be, okay, let's say we had an election day and that's it. No early voting, no mail-in voting. The only votes that count are those who show up on the day of election and participate in the system that has been tried and true for years on years, and that's the results we live with. My opinion is, if that would have been the case, it would have been easily President Trump. Easily.
You don't know.
You don't know. However, you take in account the fact that the major media outlets are obviously pro-Democrat, pro-Biden, and those. I mean, again, you and I delve deep into this, but the rest of the American people are out there just watching the major media outlets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, MSNBC, CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS. They're also on, if anything, maybe they're on some social media, which suppress stories like the Hunter Biden scandal. Which what do you think about that or not? That was something that was reported on. That was something that was reported on by a legitimate media source and was suppressed by Twitter.
Yep.
Okay, you take all that into account. Now it's very difficult for me to argue against somebody who said, "Hey, that election was stolen. It might not have been the Dominion voting machines. Might not have been anything else, but it was something. I mean, the whole country with the influencers in this country all converged to make sure that Trump did not win. I mean, think about it. Joe Biden spent
All the other Republicans-
the
All the Republicans want.
okay. So if you want to talk about rigging an election, if you want to talk about
we're counting
media
the-
influence on an election, all right. So that's the problem. That's the problem. And that's where I would think it would behoove a man like President Biden to come out and say, we have got to stop this. We have got to stop delegitimizing these elections because we are chipping away at our republic.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so look, we were wrong in the sense of trying to delegitimize Trump from 2016. That was wrong-headed. We shouldn't have made that move. We knew it was divisive. We maybe not knew it was divisive, but
Are you going to again? Is what you're talking about, Russia?
Jeff,
Nobody took anything about him.
if you want unity, somebody, okay, Senator Cruz gets elected president in 2024, which right now looks like a very good prospect, unless the Dems are willing to just run the table on this thing. Okay, you get somebody elected in 20. I mean, we are going to take over the House in 2022 unless y'all do something. We're gonna, and more than likely, we're going to take over the Senate because Warnock is a two-term deal. He's going to get ousted. We're going to have them.
Yeah, he only goes for.
And you'll be lucky if Joe Manchin doesn't flip parties. All right. So unless you do something, the Republicans are going to come back into power. What I would hope, even from my man Senator Cruz, is just to say, let's put an end to this. Please, we need to stop delegitimizing our elections. This is not good for the Republic. It's not good for us to say that president was not legitimate. This president's not legitimate. It's
I'm with you on all that.
Okay.
I'm with you on that 100%. Okay, but and you know what? The whole investigation with Trump on Russia, okay, it made for good reality TV or whatever, but everybody knew he wasn't going to get charged with anything. So just move on, be done with it. Okay.
right.
And he's in the same game. Tuesday he's going to be in the Senate, or he's going to be tried in the Senate. Everybody knows he's not found guilty. He's going to be acquitted. But just like the OJ meme, acquitting doesn't mean you're not guilty. It just means you're acquitted, right?
Yeah, but here, I mean, this would have been a gigantic olive branch for Biden to come out. I mean, you want to talk? Okay, you want to do unity? Hey, all right. President Trump was impeached a second time. Let's not let's not waste the people's time on this because we know how it's going to turn out. They already know how it's going to turn out.
Right.
Why are we wasting the people's time on this? Let's move on from this.
So would you want just to bury it over there in the Congress? Is that it? You just didn't want Nancy to ever deliver it to the Senate? I mean, once he's impeached, he's impeached. Then they have to deliver the charges. The impeachment itself has to be delivered to the Senate, which is the actual.
And so Schumer, if I were Biden, I would give it to Schumer and say, look, obviously this is going to go nowhere. This is going to waste the Senate's time for one. We have a very aggressive agenda we want to push through here. We don't have time to waste on this bullshit.
Exactly. I'm really disappointed that Schumer's going to have it this week. And I'm so glad he pushed it off at least to this week, so he had 2 weeks to get all the.
So, but that's the problem is that if,
I would have kicked the can down the road another year.
Well, no, I wouldn't have kicked the can down the road at all. What I would have said was, let's just drop it. Just drop it.
You can't. Well, under what? You can't just drop it.
You can't.
If he gets delivered with those charges, Schumer and he's not the king of charges. He can't just say, oh, well, we're not going to look at it.
Well, and even bring Pelosi into it and say, okay.
The bill, it's not like a bill from the Democrats to McConnell where he just puts it on his desk.
So now you're going to stand on procedure, and you're going to say,
yeah,
okay, the best thing for the country is that look, hey, he was impeached, and we've got to prosecute in the Senate. We just got no other choice We've got to stand on procedure here. That's really what we're doing. That's Jeff. That's not true.
Me personally, I would prefer they did that as just kick it under the rug, or I would prefer that he is acquitted and we get on with this in a day. Okay, that's what I prefer. And the biggest reason why, is because Trump is still the leader of the Republican Party right now in all facets, and he will run in 2024. I'm counting on it. Okay, I don't think that Senator Cruz really has a chance to win in 2024. I don't think he'll get the nomination. I think that Trump will get the nomination because he has such a following.
Okay.
And he's going to maintain that following. I mean, even Marjorie Taylor Greene said it in her interview yesterday.
Right. So all right. So So I'm not worried about any of that. What I am hoping for, a bone. We talked about a little bit of this last time when we talked about unity. Throw me a bone.
So maybe that's the bone. It was we just say, okay, we're not gonna do this on Tuesday, or we're gonna
fine. That would have been that. I think that would have been a huge bone. I mean, it would have made a difference no matter what, because he's going to get acquitted. It doesn't matter. He's going to be able to run in 2024, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Now you're wasting the Senate.
They're not going to whip go to jail or anything, and he doesn't go to jail anyway.
No, he's not. No, none of that's going to happen. So you're not going to be able to take revenge on Trump. It's not going to happen. He's out. Biden's in. Okay, the point being, a huge bone would have been had Biden come out and said, we're not doing this, with McConnell on his right and Pelosi on his left saying, okay, yes, we impeached him, but it's a waste of the Senate's time to go through this procedure. We're not going to try him. We're going to kick this under the rug, because we know that 75 million Americans supported him. All right, we're not going to go through with this bullshit. It's bullshit.
So in 2024, will you vote for Trump if he's wins the nomination?
I will vote Republican in 2024. I can assure you that.
Even if it's
I will vote Republican unless the Dems put out somebody like a Tulsi Gabbard or somebody else who is willing to deal in reality, not dictated by the party. And that gets back to our original point. We're going to have this ministry of reality. And what I'm hearing from this administration so far is it doesn't matter what you think reality is. Reality is what we say. If AOC says she was in the Capitol, she was in the chamber when the Capitol was attacked, then that's what the truth is.
She was. Pelosi was in there.
No, AOC was not in the chamber when the Capitol was attacked.
She was in the Capitol.
She wasn't. She was not.
She was. No. And how do you know?
Well, right. Yeah, she was because she says she.
She said
she was. She was because she said she was. She was because she said she was. That's how the minister. Yeah, because whatever the party puts forth as truth is going to be verified by the minister of reality. So if AOC said she was in the chamber when the Capitol building was stormed, doesn't matter what you think or what the evidence shows. It just matters what the party puts forth. Yeah.
Yeah. What the truth star says. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you now. There's not going to be a truth star. There's not going to be a truth committee because neither side will
let's hope
think
not.
that they're going to do their own thing, right?
Right.
And
look. Hold on. Let me just back up a second. Jeff, sure. I don't think we need a reality czar or a truth czar to sit up there on high and tell us what reality is. You and I definitely don't need that, and I don't want it. That smacks of Orwellian, Brave New World, just like producer Jeff put it. This is I'm not down with that. All right.
Right.
I want us as individuals to be able to weigh the evidence. All right. The evidence, again, this is a case in point. I'm not trying to delve, let's debate the points. The evidence I've seen is that AOC was nowhere near the chamber. She was in the office building. She was in the Capitol complex. She was not in the chambers when it happened.
She was in the. She was in. Okay, She was in the Capitol.
She was in the Capitol complex. She was not in the chamber. She was not in the Capitol building. If you and I went and visited Washington, D.C., went and visited Washington, D.C., if we were standing outside of AOC's office, that is not in the Capitol building. Right.
Okay.
So
I live in Cincinnati, but I live actually in Springfield Township because I'm about 3 blocks away from where Cincinnati is. Anyway, okay.
Well, yeah, but the point being,
I saw her interview where she said when she was hunkered down in the Capitol, and even because she had confided on the news, and she said she never confided this really to too many people, that she had been sexually abused at some point or sexually assaulted.
Yeah, she did that on Instagram. Yeah,
and for her to come out and think that and say that she felt that threatened. I mean, she made it a real.
I'm not. Okay, so don't miss my point. I don't doubt that she was terrified. I'm not doubting that. I mean, I've listened to her entire Instagram feed on that, and I have no doubt she was terrified. I mean, anybody would have been.
And she should have been, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, what makes me concerned is that she's piling on to say that she was in the Capitol building in the chambers where those people were coming in. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now I understand. Okay. I understand she was very frightened. She hid in her office, and then she went down the hall to another representative's office who was sipping coffee, and okay.
So I'm gonna pick up another. I don't think this is a Blumenthal Vietnam thing.
Right.
I think this is semantics or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Well, okay. So, but the thing of it is that my point being is that she could have very easily come out and said I wasn't even in the chambers. I was in my office, and I haven't admitted this to anybody, but I've been sexually assaulted before. So I was super terrified. I was very, very scared. All right, but I wasn't in there along with some of my colleagues. I just wasn't there.
I'm going to go back and look at her interview and see what she said.
Well,
she was, okay?
Right. So
talk about something.
Okay.
Something else about this reality czar, right?
Yeah. Because
he also brought up in that article that they wanted to do some algorithm checking.
Okay. Yeah.
And where an algorithm, because right now, and I think this is a big problem. All right. I asked you to watch that documentary, The Social Dilemma.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, I have seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. I watched that twice. Yeah, I watched it twice. Yeah. So very good. Very good.
This comes back to what Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, said in Belgium this last week too about some of the things about Facebook about when you're not paying for a product, you are the product, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I took some excerpts out of that. It's that we can't disinformation and conspiracy theories juiced by algorithm, okay? Because that's what's happening now. We all live in our own little bubble, our own world. If I pick up my wife, who's similar thinking to me about our things, what's going on, and I think Jen is to you as well.
Sure.
Her Facebook or her Instagram looks completely different than mine.
Sure.
Right? But some of the political stuff looks very similar, but she doesn't see anything about farm tractors on hers, believe it or not. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Sure.
So we got to make sure that these algorithms are not made to get information. They're for us to keep viewing and keep clicking and keep scrolling and keep swiping.
Yep.
They're made so they get a decision from us so they can sell that decision to somebody else, right?
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
Okay.
And as long as we live in these bubbles that we create because the more that you click on certain things, tighter your bubble gets.
Right.
And then you see virtually like my one TikTok account, I only see a certain thing. That's it. Boom. I get nothing else, right?
Yep.
Purposely clicked on things to make sure I would. So it's funny. My wife laughs about it. So I have a TikTok account that just shows me little people and amputees.
Okay.
Because there's a group of people like that on TikTok that talk about their situation or, do funny dances or whatever. So I proved my own point by scrolling through and the more I would find
Yep.
somebody with that type of disability, the more my TikTok customized me to that. And they gave me other options that maybe was on the fringe of that type of thing. But I have a TikTok account that is dedicated to little people and amputees.
Yep. Yeah.
Just to prove the point. So algorithms are a big thing, and the way we get our news and because we get our news in small sound bites. You and I have this luxury of listening to it all day long. We can make decisions about what Fox said versus CNN versus a radio host versus PBS. We listen to all that stuff because we both do jobs that we just do, and we can listen to it all, right?
Right. 100%. Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that don't. A lot of people sit down for an hour or two or before bedtime and scroll through and look at little people and amputees.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, this is where we've got a huge problem. I don't know how we get beyond that, especially in our current society. Tim Cook came out really against it. Like Facebook thinks about how, and this is quotations from Tim, how much can we get away with? And he didn't call out Facebook. He never said Facebook in his entire speech, but everyone knows what he was talking about, right? How much can we get away with versus what are the consequences? And I think that the storming of the Capitol, I can blame it on Trump all day long and all that. But the storming of the Capitol, if you think about it, and I'm going to go all the way back to the Arab Spring. They blamed the Arab Spring on Facebook because they could get the people together quick enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
On Facebook and social media, right? First time they'd have an uprising like that with social media. We just got the tip of the sword with that type of thing with the Capitol situation. And it's not going to get any better until we do something about it, right? And I don't know what you do about it, because if you do something about it, then, if you take away my little people and amputees, what am I going to watch? Right. Next thing I'll be doing is just watching old tractor startup videos or something like that, right?
Right. So all right. So a couple things on this. My observation of this is that the algorithms on the major social media outlets don't skew right.
Well, they do exactly. They give you what you want.
They give you what you want in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
However, they don't skew right.
They don't give you what you need. They give you what you're asking for, what your likes are about. They don't give you your dislikes.
Well, so what's interesting about this is, and what I'm curious about is, so here's, you remember Michael Jordan, right?
Oh yeah, 23.
Yep. He was,
I don't know where to pull that, but anyway.
Right. Well, okay. So yeah, actually, you should watch the Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix. It's brilliant. It's beautiful.
Okay.
So there's one for you. So yeah, I've watched the Social Media Trap. Yeah, a couple of times. It's very fascinating. Yeah. In a lot of ways spot on. But you take like a guy like Michael Jordan, and he got this great, he got the big first sneaker deal really with Nike for these crappy ass, basketball shoes, which God be praised, I never bought because they were.
You wanted them, didn't you? Wanted them?
No, I didn't. No, I did not. Well, I did. I in a sense, I did. They were a fashion statement, but they were shitty basketball shoes. They were horrible basketball shoes. So anyway, that point aside, Jordan was asked to endorse a North Carolina politician running for something, Senate or House, I can't remember what. And he in essence refused, and his line was, well, hey, even Republicans buy shoes too. And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
He never got political.
Yep.
I don't see that happening with Zuckerberg and Facebook. With the guys.
Nope.
With the guys, no, they are getting political. And which direction
Mm-hmm.
are they leaning? What how are they putting these algorithms together?
Mm-hmm.
Does it lean right? So a bunch of Marjorie Taylor Greene stuff gets out there on Twitter and Facebook? No, it doesn't. It leans
No, they're starting to cancel that stuff.
right,
it's been out there for a while.
but at the same time, it will favor information like men can be women.
Mhm.
It'll favor that 100%.
But then what happens is then you just end up with a parlor. So you can go search out the things you want to see anyway.
You can't
Right?
because
If
you can't because
like
you
the-
can't because
Too.
you can't because Parler's servers have been stripped. You
No, they're back.
no you
But
no you can't no you can't go search those things out. Okay, so the point being, you want to talk about the Ministry of Truth right now? You want to talk about 1984? The Ministry of Truth is Twitter.
No, that's what I'm telling you.
The Ministry,
It's not going to happen, but when we've got a real problem.
the Ministry of Truth is Twitter and Facebook.
Mm.
They are the gatekeepers. There's no question about that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jeff, think about this. Twitter banned and Facebook banned a sitting president of the United States.
Right.
That is whatever side you fall on this, that is tremendous power. That scared the shit out of me when they did it. When it was Trump, it would scare the shit out of me if they did it when it was Biden. I wouldn't care what side of the aisle you're on. That should scare the shit out of you. And I don't like it.
Mm-hmm. He got banned for a specific reason.
Okay, all right.
and
Whoa. I'm okay.
like him,
Okay.
would be
Again,
banned
we
too.
can delve down into all the arguments. All I'm saying is if Biden came out and said, okay, we as a country need to start eating, I don't know, if he came out with some outlandish thing,
Mhm.
never in a million years would Twitter or Facebook ban him, or even think about it, or even put a tag on, okay, this probably isn't correct.
So I'm going to tell you, Trump got banned on his personal account at Real Donald Trump. He didn't get banned on the at POTUS. He didn't get banned on the at White
all
House.
right, so
He
all right.
got banned on.
You're still talking about silencing the voice of the
You're not silencing.
well.
You know, that guy has 100 cameras looking at him all day long. All he had to do any day of the week is walk out to that podium
All right.
24/7.
Okay, well, okay, so fine. If that doesn't if that doesn't disturb you, then okay, it disturbs me.
It does. I don't.
I don't
it does
care
disturb
what
me.
side
I
I don't
don't
care
want
what
any
side of the aisle you are on this. Something like that goes
Right.
down. That is troubling. That is very, very troubling.
Yeah. Oh, it troubles me because I'm a at Real Donald Trump follower on Twitter,
Right.
and I even have notifications set so my phone dings every time he sends out a tweet
Yep.
because I want to see what he's saying.
I agree with that 100%, and that's where I think the whole thing's going wrong.
Right.
I mean, again, I am not a red meat eating.
He's the president. I want to know what he's saying.
Agreed, 100%. I am not a red meat eating, die hard in the wool Republican. I'll just lap up anything they say. You know that about me. Okay?
Right. Oh, I call bullshit on most.
But here's the thing: is I got banned from Twitter.
Oh,
You know,
Mine's
and
working.
I have no followers. I have like 500 followers. That's it. Twitter's not even one of my major outlets. I'm surprised I haven't been banned from Facebook yet. So what? So
You must-
so
you
so
must
you
have
want
said
you want to
something
take so I hope you would agree that I'm pretty much a normal guy. I'm an American. I'm a worker. Blah blah blah. I'm interested in politics. Of course, I delve deep into these things, but but now I'm viewed as a threat. I mean, Brennan said so
I'm
much.
going to put you on the spot, but someday you'll have to share me what you did to get banned. I'm curious.
No, I
You know,
that's
you-
the thing is I don't know. It just said you violated our terms of service and that's it.
Oh,
So I don't really know.
Oh.
And again, my suspicion was that I think I don't know. I have no idea. I just don't know. You violated our terms of service. You're no longer allowed to participate in our platform.
okay. Well, that's what they did with Trump too. They let him violate the service agreement so many times.
Well, but all right.
I mean-
but what's the terms of service? Again, that's the thing. That's okay. So let me just be straight with you. The message I'm getting right now is, as long as you don't speak against the party, you're good.
Mhm.
You don't violate our term. And so that's what I wish Twitter and Facebook and everybody else would come out with. Is here's our terms of service. You don't speak against the party. If you speak against the party, you will be banned.
Well, no, like the rules, right? You're not allowed to put child porn on Twitter. It's against the law. It's against the rules, right? They're going to ban you, right? I'm using that as an extreme, but they're going to ban you, right?
Sure.
So they have rules. They have terms of service.
Right.
You have to abide by those. You get banned. Now you could cut hairs about, well, I don't need to be banned because I didn't do this or I didn't do that or somebody else is doing worse. But to be honest, Trump should have been banned long before he ever was. I mean, they started putting notifications on his thing the last couple of months before he was banned,
well,
saying
and
that he was
so
lying.
what terms of service was he violating specifically?
Well, I'm not. Which one? Which tweet?
Yeah,
I mean, he violated
any one
some-
of them. Pick one. Which tweet would you say?
I mean, this may be another one. I'm going to go do some research and I'll go pull out some tweets for you. But because they're all published, they even have books of his tweets from when he first joined Twitter. You can get the book of every single tweet, even the deleted ones that he deleted.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
he
and
didn't-
so which one of those tweets violated their explicit?
I don't know which one broke the camel's back.
Because
I can't recall.
Because that's the thing is they banned Trump
Mhm.
for a violation of terms of service. What term of service did he violate? What term of service did they ban me from?
Exactly. I was going to say. So what about you? What did they ban you from?
You got
I'm
me.
not in the same group
I wish I knew.
you.
I wish I knew. I mean, and again, I would feel better if Twitter would just come out and say, you don't, hey, look, you're somebody who speaks against the party, and that's in violation of our terms of service. You don't speak against the party, just like in China. You don't
That's what
speak.
they
You
have.
don't speak against the party. See, that's why Kamala Harris can come out and say, we want these rights to continue. They're not going to stop, not even after the election. Blah blah blah, and that's not insurrection. But Trump,
No.
but right, absolutely not, because
She
she's
didn't say she wanted riots to continue. She wanted protests to continue because she appreciated what they were protesting for. She didn't say riots to continue.
Yeah,
Protesting.
no, that's not how I took it. I took it as
Okay.
they should keep rioting, they should keep looting. In fact, she supported a GoFundMe. She supported a GoFundMe for people who were jailed.
Good.
Over rioting and looting. Okay, so again, but the point being is the message that I'm just telling you. I'm trying to boil this down to basic facts. Is what I'm hearing from the current culture and from the current administration is don't dare speak out against the party. Don't do so at your own peril. And in fact, I've got billboards all over my state asking me to inform on my neighbors if I suspect they've been involved in the Capitol riots. This disturbs me. I don't care which I
Wait a second. Wait, Ken, you don't think you should inform on your neighbors that participated in the Capitol riots?
Never in a million years would I do that. Never in a million. Even if I had hard data.
So if somebody stole your neighbor's car, would you inform on the thief, on the car thief?
I'm not sure. I think that's a separate question. I think we're talking.
Well,
About,
no.
I think we're
You
talking.
don't
I think
answer-
we're talking about a political question. I think we're
No,
talking about. I think we're talking about a political question. And okay, so fine. You want to put billboards up all around my state and all around the Midwest about how how you can inform on your neighbors about being involved in the Capitol riots, blah blah blah. Put up billboards about people who were complicit in the Kenosha riots, people who were complicit in the riots in the Pacific Northwest, people who were complicit in the looting of Chicago. Okay, you want to put up those billboards? Put those billboards up too.
Yeah.
All right. Don't.
A Starbucks not equivalent to the Capitol building with sitting senators and Congress people inside. Not the same thing. There's no equivalency here.
No, that's bullshit. Because somebody who had their business destroyed, in my opinion, a small business destroyed in Kenosha or Chicago or in Portland or in Seattle is way more important than any one of those sons of bitches who sit up on their high horses in that fucking Capitol. Way more important.
We wanted to save all of our federal buildings and statuary and all that. I mean, Trump even made a special 10-year sentence for all the people that would destroy anything like that. And
yet there were no billboards around my state telling me to inform on my neighbors who might have participated in that story. There were no billboards around Fort Wayne who were saying, hey, if you know a neighbor who was involved in the Fort Wayne riots, and there were riots here, inform on them. Okay, so there's clearly a double standard going on here. There's clearly a double standard going on here. And that's what's frustrating. And the message that I've been sent from this administration, from soup to nuts, right up to this point is, do whatever you want. Do not speak against the party. We will destroy you. We will destroy you.
All right. So let's just say we accept that.
Okay.
Don't speak against the party.
Don't speak against the party. All right.
Speaking against the party. I think that kind of works with the other party too. But anyway, with the Republicans, they were probably the same.
Who's the? All right.
I have another question for you. All right.
So let me back up for a second on that. If that's how you perceive how Trump and the Republican, caucus administered the government in the last 4 years, is that they were pushing forth a "don't speak against our party" type of platform, then they're wrong.
They did that. I don't think they did that. I think they did they did because they had power. I just think that they excluded all the liberals and Democrats. Like I say, even in committees, they just excluded them. And then what
do you mean they excluded them? There weren't Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee?
There was, but then the Republicans would meet by themselves without the Democrats on the committee.
Well, that always happens. I mean, okay.
I know, but then they would not meet with the Democrats at all. They would just say, "Well, that was the meeting. We don't need you guys." Okay. And
okay. So, but
there was no unity with Trump.
Okay, all right. So here again, do you want Biden and the Dems to govern like Trump did, just on the other side of the coin? Okay, that's my big problem. That's what I'm hopeful about Biden. I was hopeful. Now I'm starting to lose hope. Is that he is trying to govern like Trump did, just on the other side of the coin.
I'm not seeing that at all.
Okay, that's what. All right. That may not be what you're seeing, but that's what I'm seeing. Again, I'm not just throw me the red meat, let me eat it up, and I'll just lick the boots of Senator Cruz. I am not that kind of guy. But the perspective I have is that Biden is like, oh yeah, you guys stuck it up our ass the last 4 years. We're gonna stick it up your ass even harder the next 4 years.
I'll tell you what.
Okay.
I've told you this before.
Right.
I don't think Biden's strong enough because I'm so far left. I'm way out in Bernie and AOC land, right, or even further left than that because of my experiences in life. And if I was Biden, that's exactly what I would do.
Okay,
and I would push all.
All right, so you just
I wouldn't rule like Trump.
illustrated the point. You just illustrated the point. You say this is the way stuff should be done. Trump tried to do it. He was completely impotent in trying to.
He didn't get anything done.
Exactly right. Yeah, and now you want the same kind of rule, just on the flip side of the coin. Now, tell me about unity. Tell me where I'm supposed to unify with that.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. Biden is actually trying to do. If it was up to me, there would be no unity. We'd move forward.
Yeah, right. Unity. Well, and again, so this is my suspicion. I can't prove this, but this is my suspicion. My suspicion is when Biden said unity and unity and unity and unity and democracy and unity, what he meant was, if you don't get on board with our agenda, 100%, there's going to be no. I mean, it would have been great if he would have just come out in the inaugural and said, "Hey, guess what, y'all? I am going to run this country the exact same way Donald Trump ran it for the last 4 years." Just on the other side of the coin, and there will be the only way there will be unity. The only way there will be unity is if you get on board 100% with our agenda, and there will be no compromise. And if you try to make us compromise, we will crush you. Thank you very much. Glad to be your president.
We voted for that agenda. We voted for that platform. The Republicans have to know that platform.
Who's we, white man? Me and 75 million other Americans did not vote for that platform.
Me and 84 million did.
Okay, fair enough. Well, 84. But however, so
82,
you're willing. So that's what's dangerous about this is you're willing to run roughshod over roughly half the country.
Democracy. Okay. All right.
That's my point.
So the billboards up, are they patriots? These guys that they're looking for on the billboards, are those guys patriots? Are they being crucified or whatever because they were patriots in there, and because they're part of the GOP or part of the Trumpers and all that? They're just on the wrong side right now, but they're actually patriots. Is that what you think?
Well, no. I think that the people. So again, I think that the people that are being sought after by the FBI in a very aggressive way, they might have thought they were patriots, but I don't think they are. I think they're very misguided. I think they were extremely frustrated. Okay, again, go back to this 100 times. I'm not a red meat eating, I am a nonconformist.
Mm-hmm.
All right. However, some of the stuff that Biden and the Dems that have been doing in the past administration.
Like what? Where did the point on your shoulder there where the Dems and Biden hurt you? I don't get it.
Not directly yet.
Hurt you.
They're not here to help me. I don't buy that for a second, because the last time they tried to help me, I got priced out of the health insurance market. That's how Dems help.
I thought I was too. I went and did the research on that.
Yeah. Okay, whatever. So we can delve in that into another time.
Okay.
My point being is that there are times, especially when I hear sitting congressmen like the vaunted Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, D-Twitch, accuse a sitting senator of attempted murder and complicity in something that she would equate to sexual assault.
Complicity, yeah, he's on their side.
No. See, that's
he was on the
so if you want to talk about me having
did Cruz want to overthrow the election?
No, I think he wanted a fair election. So now we're delving in.
What was his argument? Because he wanted a fair election.
His argument is that many Americans suspected the results of the election. He was trying to address that. And if on the floor of the Senate, in a completely constitutional and procedural way that's allowed, and Democrats have done this before.
Yeah, he objected to the.
Okay, that does not implicate him in trying to murder AOC. All right, so my point in that, let's back up from that. That stuff pisses me off. That makes me want to kick the cat. It makes me want to be violent. All right, and I am not a violent man. So you take somebody lesser than me, who doesn't have the restraints and the moral compass that such a person as myself has, and you whip them into a frenzy like that. It's no wonder you're going to get that kind of reaction. I'm not excusing it. It's wrong. Those people were wrong. They don't represent me.
Wait a second. You mean those people that bought airline tickets and made hotel reservations and rented cars and packed all their matching tactile gear and plastic handcuffs and all that kind of stuff and showed up for a Trump rally? They didn't plan any of that. It was just out of,
No, they
didn't think they were.
They planned it 100%. They planned it 100%. It was a completely improper reaction to what's going on right now.
They weren't just caught up in the moment at a Trump rally.
Absolutely not.
Down.
Nope. No.
They were 100% planned.
Well, how else do you explain all the evidence of them preparing for such a siege? So
isn't the FBI is looking for them? That's why the FBI, right? Because they planned an insurrection. They planned to break into our government. They planned it on the day when all the senators and Congress people would be in the chamber, would be in the Capitol building. They knew that they were going out for whatever kind of party they planned on. I don't know. They all had their Trump flag capes on and all that kind of stuff. They tore down the U.S. flag off the Capitol building and put a Trump flag up. Why wouldn't you think the FBI are going after those folks?
Well, I don't doubt that they are, but what about why is the FBI trying to hunt the people down who burned down the police station in Minneapolis? It's a double standard.
They should be hunting them.
Oh, they should be, but they're not. It's a double standard. And again, that brings me back to my main point, is as long as you don't speak against the party, because burning down, yeah.
You just sound like you're still persecuted all the time.
I'm not saying I'm persecuted. What I'm saying is, what I'm trying to communicate to you is that from my perspective, what's being communicated to me is stop speaking against the party. As long as you don't speak against the party, you're going to be fine.
I'll give you that one. I'll just agree with you or whatever. Don't speak against the party.
Okay.
But I'm curious, what Democrat or liberal, hurt you so bad? Where did they hurt you? They haven't done anything to your life but make it better.
Well, I disagree with that.
Well, what did Trump do for you? He didn't do anything for you. He made no legislation.
Okay, well, so all right, so
going away this year.
Again, what what I'm looking again. I don't know how many times I have to say this. What I'm looking for from my federal government is nothing. Stop doing stuff. Again,
stop helping.
Exactly. In the vein of my favorite black author, one of my favorite black authors, Jason Riley, please stop helping us. Just get the fuck out of my way. Stop putting barriers in my way.
So,
okay.
Well, I'm curious. I saw something else that really set with me.
Okay.
And what it was is personality cults are not conservative.
No, right? I agree with that. No, I agree with that 100%. Well,
conspiracy theories are not conservative.
No.
Okay. Lying about stolen elections is not conservative. Doesn't have anything to do with conservative values, right?
Right. Well, I reject your premise Uh,
Well, treating politics like a religion is not conservative either.
no, I agree with that 100%.
Okay.
And so we
So
can
these
we can
other people that are doing
we can
this,
talk about who treats politics and the government like a religion, because I certainly don't. My God is the one true God who created the
there's
heavens and
only
the earth.
one.
100%.
I agree.
Okay, so
There should be a
the problem.
complete, they should be divided completely: government, politics, and religion.
Okay, well, no, so right, but at the but my observation of things is that um, the agenda going forth, or the prevailing winds of our culture, puts government in the place of God.
No.
Okay.
Well, certainly not for you or me, but there's some people that have no God, or they don't think they have a God. Let's put it that way. Okay.
Okay.
There's some people that, and maybe government is their God. Okay, I get where you're coming from. Hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
So
was seeing that.
right. So here's right. But all right. So
Uh,
here's the thing: is I go to a church. Right. We talked about this a little bit before when we were trying to prep. Um,
uh-huh.
I go to a church where I believe that the Lord Jesus Christ's body and blood are on our altar, and in fact, not only that, it gets fed to me, and
Mm-hmm.
I get to eat Christ's body, and I get to
Right.
drink Christ's blood. I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
That's an article of faith.
Right.
Why do I believe that? Well, the reason I believe that is because I believe Holy Scripture, God's Word, is the inerrant, infallible voice of God to us. That's my ultimate
Mm-hmm.
authority.
Right.
So,
But
what's that?
that's not government.
No,
And
no.
government's not.
However, check this out. AOC says she was in the Capitol building when she wasn't. Doesn't matter what reality is. Doesn't matter that the bread is just bread and the wine is just wine. What matters is what AOC says. What matters is what the party says. And that's where I fear this ministry of truth bullshit. Because you're going to have a ministry of truth come down and say, don't let your lying eyes deceive you. What we tell you is true. If AOC says she was in the Capitol building, doesn't matter if she was or not, she was in the Capitol building.
Right.
And if you come against that, we're going to come after you with all the force and vigor that we possibly can. And that's exactly what she's done. Okay?
Okay.
So now this is turned into a religion as well. All right, so I've got my articles. I've got my articles of faith, and so do my opponents.
What I'm seeing though is that a whole bunch of these, and there's a lot of people out there that this is one big blur. It all goes together, right?
Yeah.
And it goes even back to what we were just talking about with Facebook before too, with the algorithms and Instagram algorithms and everything else. You are what you consume, and a lot of the people that went, and I'm not letting them off the hook, but the people that went to the Capitol building did that premeditatedly with an idea. Although some of them looked like deer in a headlight, look like they got in the Capitol building, they kind of looked around like, now what do we do? We took over the Capitol building. Now what do we do? You know, It was kind of weird. It was funny because they had the ropes that went through the rotunda, right? And they even stayed in the middle of the ropes. It's like, I'm
so all right. So let me just. No,
anyway,
I get what you're saying, and let me just back up and say that was a very.
We need people that think more and think better.
I agree.
And I'm not saying think like
agree. I agree. That was.
I think that.
So I've been and I think maybe have you been to the Capitol to to tour the.
Yep.
That was
before 911. Let you go a lot of places. Actually, the tour went through all the rooms. The gold room and the white room and the.
Yeah, and I was super lucky as a freshman at Oklahoma State. I had a buddy in the Future Farmers of America whose dad was associated with one of our senators.
Hmm.
and he flew us out for the National Prayer Breakfast when I'm trying to think. Yeah, H.W. Bush was the president.
Hmm.
And I'll never forget that.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
beautiful place.
it is.
It's a great.
And the thing
Mhm.
and the thing of it was is we got to see all the tunnels. You know,
Oh, I didn't see any tunnels. I didn't go that far. I
he
went through.
took us. No, he
What I
yeah, he was.
I got to go
I
in the
can't.
Senate chamber because they
Yeah,
weren't meeting at the time I was there.
yeah.
I got to go in the Senate chamber and actually sit down in one of the senator's seats.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and but there was nobody in there. It was just completely empty, right? And when I was telling you about White Room and Gold Room and all that, that was back at the White House because I did the White House
Oh,
tour of
okay.
the same trip.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I remember going through the White House tour,
Yeah,
and that was really cool because we stayed right downtown. And at that time, you just showed up really early and got your tickets.
yeah,
And my wife went with her two nieces last year, 2 years
yeah.
ago. Anyway, uh, relatively recently, right? Because her one niece was presenting out in D.C. She's a she's an astrophysicist.
Oh,
Anyway,
wow.
and she was doing a presentation out there, so she invited my wife and the other niece who was visiting us at the time to go out to DC and hang out for the week and go to museums and all that kind of stuff together.
Right.
So they got to do the White House tour, but they had to get their tickets like
Yeah.
a month ahead of time,
Oh,
something
wow.
like that.
Okay.
Where when I went the last time, and this has been before 911,
Yeah.
they just had some bleachers out in the park, and you couldn't sit on the bleachers at 5 o'clock in the morning. And they said, "Okay, who's here for the White House tour?" They just
Yeah.
gave you your free tickets,
Yeah.
and you showed up at a certain time, and they, marshaled you through, right?
Right.
So anyway, but
Right.
it was a great experience.
Yeah. No,
I
100%.
absolutely did.
Well, and that's the
Yeah.
thing that I thought about was, they took us through the tunnels and everything. The
Mhm.
senator took us through the tunnels, and we got to go up and we had to sit up on, obviously, because the Senate was deliberating something.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, I mean, it was great. And I'll tell you another really cool story. We actually, well, I didn't meet him, but my buddy and I were standing down to catch the tram to go back to the office buildings, and John Glenn came up.
Oh, really? The good Ohio guy, man. Oh, man.
And I was like poking my bed, I'm like, it's John Glenn. He's like, I know. Shut up, shut up. We none of us had the none of us had the guts to introduce ourselves to John Glenn. So, it definitely it broke my heart to see what happened to our capital.
Yeah, it did me too.
It's not something I agree with. What motivated these people, and there's just no excuse for it.
No.
I so wish it wouldn't have happened. I think things would be less complicated had those people not done that. And I think they're fanatics, and whatever motivated them. I think, that's the thing is that's what I struggle with is I don't think we can ferret out what motivated them. I just don't think we can
Goes
get
back
rid
to
of
what
it.
they do. I think it goes right back. They used to make a joke about it when I was growing up. You are what you eat, or whatever. But nowadays,
Yeah.
it's you are what you consume.
Yeah, but I don't think the answer to that is the kind of censorious behavior we see from social media companies. This idea of having a minister of reality. The only thing you're going to do is drive those people deeper underground, and then when they emerge, then you're really going to be surprised. Because I'm like
Well,
you.
you know what puts the person away from you quick is whenever you call them out and tell them that you fact checked them, like on Facebook or something like that,
Yeah.
and they make some bizarre statement or whatever, and then you fact check them, right?
Yeah.
And then they go, "Oh, I don't believe the fact check," right? It's like,
Well,
So-
right. But I
you
think.
believe the fact.
But I
You
think so. Here's where I complete. So if Twitter and Facebook and whoever else, the minister of reality, are trying to quash the type of intake the folks that stormed the Capitol took in, if they're trying to quash that, their best bet is to let them speak more freely, let them have more access. Let them tell us who they are. I want to know who these people
Me too.
are. Who are, again, because a lot of this was done on back channels, right? Because
I want them to reveal themselves, right?
exactly, And I think Twitter and Facebook and whoever else is making a mistake to try to censor them. Let them speak. I want to know who they are.
Thing, but my wife and I were talking about that recently. Is I didn't know that there was so many people in my circles, and they didn't know how I felt either, or what my beliefs are either, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't know I had so many people in my circles that could have been one of those insurrectionists.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God. And I could name them off to you, friends that I've had. And this isn't somebody I just, met at the beer store or something like that. These people that I've known for years, decades. And it's absolutely surprising to me. But, the reason I know that now is because they've been revealed through their posts. Because one thing I don't do is I don't delete anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I never do. And I've had people come at me, like the DM guy yesterday. Oh, he come after me hard. I still don't ever delete anybody.
Right.
Because just like you, I want to know who they are. Right. I want to know what they're doing.
Right.
And there's still the other reason I don't delete them is because if I post something, they're going to see it because we're friends on Instagram or whatever. They're going to continue to see whatever I post unless they block me, and then I'm not going to see their stuff anyway. But that's one of the other reasons I don't block them is
and that's why. Yeah, and again, that's that's why just let them speak. Just let them speak. Especially when it comes to these big multimedia conglomerates, Twitter, Facebook, etc., Google. The worst thing you can do to somebody who feels like they're in that desperate situation is silence them. So you silence them. Now they're like, okay, well, we have no other recourse than to storm the Capitol building.
Well, now you cornered them, right?
Yep.
You don't want to corner them, right?
Yeah.
You want to let them be open.
Right.
You want them to, and we'll go back to something really crazy. If some guy likes child porn, I want him to tell me he likes
100%.
child porn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't want him doing that in the basement or whatever he does, this weird stuff. I want him to tell me that. Okay?
Yep.
And same way with any of those things. Right. I want him to be on Facebook and be proud of it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if there's some people deciding to storm Fort Wayne because they want to take over the city because they want to right the wrongs of past or what.
Well, they want to make a Cincinnati out of it because your Fort Wayne people don't know we need to make a Cincinnati.
Well, yeah. So I mean, that's the thing is we want to know about this stuff. So I think a ministry of truth is a super bad idea. I mean, unless you're. What's that?
When I read your article, I thought you were going to be pro for all that stuff.
No,
and I'm just like,
no,
absolutely.
No. That article by the New York Times guy that's frightening to me.
Yeah.
And again, I think it was a major mistake for Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all these others, to ban Trump. That was, I mean, you want to fuel the fire.
Well, it did.
That was
fire. It fueled a fire, for sure.
Yeah.
In fact, the time they tried to reprimand him, it fueled the fire.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. So
Can you imagine Twitter though? For the last 2 weeks of his presidency, what do you think he would have posted on Twitter for the last 2 weeks?
Well, I don't.
If he would have had access.
Yeah, I it's hard to say. I mean, he would have talked about the election being fraudulent and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, so you weigh those two. My opinion, if I'm Jack Dorsey, I'm weighing these two options. I'm going, okay, Trump's putting out this bullshit. In my opinion, it's bullshit. It's complete lies.
Right.
Should we allow him to continue on the platform and say these things, or do we ban him?
Well, maybe we just stop all the banning and you even get your Twitter back, so you can.
Well, I would.
Say,
gosh, I would hope so. Well, I'm not that dependent on Twitter. I laughed at that because I'm more dependent on Facebook than anything. I'm more on Facebook, but they haven't banned me, thank God.
No.
And if I got Twitter back, it wouldn't be that big a deal to me. But the point being is, I don't think that's the route to go. I think that the remedy to bad speech, right. So Trump's spewing out all these lies about the stolen election and the landslide and the fraud and the blah 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 and all this reckless language, which incidentally Senator Cruz did in a recent podcast call President Trump's language concerning this reckless. I will put that on the record.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
nice to come out afterwards like that after years. Hey, I got to take a break.
Oh, okay. No, we've been going a long time, but so I think right. What I hope what we're getting down to here is the idea is that so let Trump say all that stuff. Don't ban him.
Yep.
The idea is to counteract that stuff with.
Hang on.
Yeah.
I got to take a break, and I want to come back and I want to talk about this because I've got one more to add to it.
Okay. All right. No problem.
All
yep.
Right.
See you in a minute.
Minutes. No more banning. No more. Nothing like that. No.
Yeah.
I get you. Okay. I like that.
Okay. Yeah, well, right. No, I'm all for banning. If I started a social media site, it would be all about religion, and I would, in my terms of service, I would very explicitly say, if you are not a religious Lutheran, an Orthodox Lutheran, as defined by the 1580 Book of Concord, you're not welcome here. And if you say stuff that's against that, then we will ban you. That's what I want. If you want to do a social media site, make your terms of service clear. If it's going to be an open forum where everybody, it's a free for all, then you got to let the porn in. You've got to let whatever else in.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got to make your terms of service clear. All right. So,
well, I think they made their terms of service clear. They're not going to allow porn, right? Unlike Facebook.
Okay. So,
but there's some other things.
Right.
I'd have to go look at the terms of service,
Yeah.
but they're not going to allow porn. But I get what you're saying. If you have your own private social network out there and you set it up like that, you're okay to make your own terms of service. That's fine.
And just
okay.
make it clear. Okay. Again, I would completely respect Twitter and Facebook if they just said, look, you don't speak against the party. That's it. I mean,
all right.
Simple. So now I get why I'm banned, because I speak against the party all the time.
Okay.
I dead name people. I say that men cannot be women and women cannot be men. I say that homosexual.
Oh, so that's why you're there was an
okay.
LGBT.
All right. So yeah. So now but you cannot find me a place in the terms of service of Twitter where it says that I can't make those statements. There's no such place. They put that under the broad rubric of that section 230, which says and other offensive content. That is so broad to make it completely undefined. You've got to define. Okay, hey, it's okay if you ban me. And that's the thing is. I've been banned from many Facebook sites because, I'll tell you this. You think I'm controversial in a political sense? I'm very controversial as a Lutheran. And I've been, oh yeah, and I've been banned from Lutheran sites for no good reason. And I'm like, what did I violate? Well, we just don't like you.
We don't like you.
Okay, fine.
You don't belong with us.
Exactly. Put that in the description of your group. If we don't like you, we will ban you. Just so you know.
Well, the same thing. I belong to a couple of beer groups, a couple of tractor groups,
right.
A car group, woodworking. All those. They all have terms of service within their group, right? And they're gonna kick you out. They're gonna reprimand you. They're gonna delete your posts if you don't, like on the tractor group. If I post something about motorcycles, they're gonna delete my post,
right?
Because that's not what it's about,
that's
right?
not what the group's about. Yep.
If you're on a Lutheran, they're not going to post your specific Lutheran stuff that doesn't go along with their Lutheran stuff.
Well,
maybe
right.
you just misread their group. That's all.
Well,
but I want to take it one step deeper. Okay.
Okay.
And so we're talking about opening it all up, and I always use child porn because I can't think of anybody that's not against child porn other than child porn people. Okay.
Okay.
I want those guys to expose themselves. I want them to be able to post. I want them to be able to talk about whatever they're doing. The reason is because I want a whole nother set of algorithms. I want the algorithms that give you the content you want because I want to see what I want, right? I want to consume what I want to consume. I'm not on your Lutheran sites. That doesn't come in my algorithm because that's not what I'm searching for or consuming right now, right? Mm-hmm. But I want another set of algorithms. And I'm sure they're available already, or they're already being used. I want them to find that person or that group that's doing things illegally, like the child porn. I want to be able to look through all of every Facebook post and be able to pick out keywords, key phrases. But I want to get to a Minority Report.
Okay, so all right, so fair enough. I agree with that. I think that our public square should be a place where people engage in legitimate acts of free speech
Hmm.
and are not engaged in criminal activity
Right.
or activity that we deem immoral.
Okay.
So now
But wait a second. You and I have different moral and immoral. Our line is not the same place, right?
exactly.
So
So now what do you
the
do? So
criminal activity is-
now you're drawing the line at child pornography. Let's use these places to ferret out the child pornographers. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with that 100%. I'm trying to think of a next step that would be not so extreme as the one I'm thinking.
Well, I was thinking of in between where you were going.
Okay.
I think I know where you're going.
Okay, but okay, so
And that's why-
let's say we've got a Kevin Spacey situation, or a 21, 22-year-old boy who's trying to facilitate a relationship with a 17-year-old boy. Technically, according to our statutes, that's statutory rape, that's child porn, whatever else you're trying to.
Right.
So there even things get dicey, right?
It doesn't matter boy, it doesn't matter boy, girl. That situation is illegal right now, and just about every place I know of it. I mean, you can't deal with other you as an adult anyway. You don't want to deal with underage kids or anything like that anyway.
Yeah, no.
But it
Well,
gets a little weird when 17. But
Yeah. All right. So here's how if I was gonna do if Jack Dorsey said, hey Matt, here's Twitter, and Zuckerberg said here's Facebook, regulate it how you want. You know what the rules would be? Don't break any of the laws of our country.
Okay.
Don't violate the Constitution.
Yep.
And that would be how it set the algorithms. So I would have these genius computer guys set up all these algorithms. So if there was a violation of law,
Right.
they would catch it, delete it, and that person would be targeted for arrest.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So
But wait a second. You didn't go the other way. What if you'd already brought up the 21-year-old and 17-year-old boys? But let's say that there's two consenting adults of the same sex, boys or girls or whatever, but they're posting about that's legal in the United States, but it's not of the same moral caliber that you would like.
Right. Well,
So where do you draw-
and that's where again you want to talk about give and take. I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like to set up a social media site where people could hook up in that way in what I consider to be an immoral relationship. However, if I were going to put out a public square type of media platform like Facebook or Twitter, there's no way I could regulate all that morality unless I made that very clear. Okay, if again, if it were me, I wouldn't even I would definitely abide by the statutes of the United States of America, both federal and local. I would abide by your Constitution. However, I would add some other caveats of my own. I would say, okay, this is
you discriminate, are you? Before you get all those.
Yeah, no, I am discriminating. However, what I'm saying is, I'm going to make that abundantly clear as I possibly can make it. With all my lawyers involved and everything else. If you're a homosexual man or a homosexual woman or a transsexual, whatever, that sort of thing is not allowed on our platform. All right, so I would make that super clear. I would say this is not allowed here, and if you do that, if you engage in that behavior, you won't be allowed to participate in our platform.
You'll find your other platform.
Exactly, 100%. Go find another platform to do that on. We're not doing that here. All right.
So that could be like your Lutheran platform that you talked about. You could have your Lutheran platform, right?
Right.
And this could be a heterosexual platform. There you go. Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm
just as long. That's the thing is, my biggest beef with Facebook and Twitter And again, that's just, you know, and it's just, it's funny because I mean, I'm not some personality on Twitter. I'm really not. You know, for all the stuff I've done, I don't have but 500 followers. Oh, well, I did on Twitter. I just don't. But I got banned, and I still have no bloody reason why. Okay, you're gonna ban me? Fine.
You have an idea.
Why? Please tell me what did I do wrong here?
You
Because
can't
it was.
your tweets because you're locked out.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, you know, it's your platform. You can ban me if you want, but it would be really nice to know why I got banned. And so I think again, that would be the ethical thing for these public square social media platforms to do. All right, hey, you want to have a morally, quote unquote, morally pure, clean as the driven snow type of platform like I want to have. State your terms explicitly. Tell me what it is I'm going to get banned for if I start looking to hook up with another guy on Matthew Garnett's platform. You got to know Matthew Garnett will not tolerate you hooking up with another guy on his platform.
Well, yeah, or that whole interracial thing too.
Right.
I mean, that
Okay, all right. So now you're accusing me of bigotry, and I don't really like that.
No, I'm not accusing anything. I'm just that platform's up that another person. We could say it's Pete's platform doesn't allow any interracial.
Well, okay, so.
Content. We only do white
No.
people.
Time out there. So now there's where I'd say you're in violation of law. You cannot set. No. Time out. I said violation of law. I cannot set up. I cannot set up terms of service that are in violation of law.
Correct.
Whether federal law, state law, the Constitution, you cannot set up terms of service that are in violation of that. So, for instance, if I wanted to set up a site that was, you know, whites only. You know, whites only,
just white,
whatever.
Only.
Right? You would be in violation of the 1965 Civil Rights Act. That cannot be allowed.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
You cannot set
but
up.
with the LGBTQ people, aren't you in violation of the civil rights too?
No, not so far. They haven't. There's no law that's been passed that says that I cannot on religious grounds discriminate against somebody who wants to engage in homosexual activity. There's been no such law passed. Now, if that law passes, now we've got a whole other can of worms we got to deal with.
Right.
But
I think religion, you can worship however you want to. I'm not gonna. You do your thing, I do my thing. Sure. You know, people like the flying spaghetti monster, you know, or whatever. There's all kinds of things going on out there, right?
Oh my gosh, you brought up this flying spaghetti monster. That's awesome. We got it. That's a topic for next week. We're gonna discuss the flying spaghetti monster. Okay. I want to know. I want to know what you know about the flying spaghetti monster. I love that. I love that argument. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. No, we got to cut it, buddy. We've been at it for too long today.
No, I know.
It's already 8:00. So, anyway, I've got to cut it anyway. I've got to spend some time with my wife. I was supposed to have a list of honeydew items to do. I got up late today. Didn't get any of them done. And late. So
all right. Well,
busy tomorrow.
The good news is we've got this live stream down. So I'll get with producer Jeff about how we want to do this. Especially since the first hour is fine. We're going to get the audio off of it, no problem. The time since we broke that first time, I adjusted some settings, and we are streaming hardcore. I mean, I've been watching on my phone. We're like spot on. This is good. Right. We got this down. So we got this good to go, and we'll pick it up next week. I am still hopeful that the Republic will continue. And
I think it will. We'll make it done.
Right. I don't think we're going to devolve. Not devolve. Maybe evolve. I don't think we're going to evolve into communist China anytime in our lifetimes. But it's fun to talk about.
I mean, it's China. I need to take you on a trip there, and I think you would
No,
be
well,
like,
no, oh my gosh. I listen. I've told you this before. I think I would thrive. I would be such a great Chinese citizen
I know you would.
because I just like, hey, what needs to be done? What do we need
What's
to
the
do?
rule? I'm going to play them, and I'm going to do the best I can. Yep.
Right.
And that's what most
right.
these people.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. All right, we'll talk about all that stuff. Oh man, I love this. I so look forward to this day. I really do.
Saturdays
the
are good.
best-
We might want to do them earlier, though. Maybe do them in the morning versus the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's up to you, though.
that might be a good thought. Yeah, let me give that some thought because normally what I do is my normal podcast in the morning. I try to get that record. Like I said, I was live streaming with that guy this morning. And he's one of my regular guys. He comes on pretty much
Sure.
every month.
Yeah, I'm not trying to bump any.
No. Don't worry about bumping. But like next week, I mean, I've got tons of bank content with him, and we went to.
So I'm just saying, we started late today. I was here sitting in the chair at 3. It's already 8. That's 5 hours.
No, well,
plus-
and then
Reading.
I very much. Yeah, I very much
it.
apologize for that because I'm still trying to work out this live stream and trying to make trying to help Jeff get this stuff up and so because I think what we're talking about, I think people will be really interested to listen to what we're talking about.
I think so.
And so when that interest hits, I don't want them to hit a bunch of technical. Oh, I can't hear the audio. The video's choppy. Yeah, so
Mhm.
trying to sort all that.
Well, I'll take a look at our first hour. I'll take a look at it tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
See how it looks, and see if I can get it promoted too.
Okay.
So,
All right.
man. Gotta go.
Yeah. Good to see you, bro. Take care.
Good to see you. I'm gonna go eat some beans.
Yeah. Amen, brother.
Think about my grandfather, our grandfather.
Eat them up. See you.
I will. Talk to you later.
All right. Take care. See ya.